Hello, extraordinaries, and welcome to another episode of the High Performance Consciousness Podcast. My name is Matthew Paddy, and again, I will be your host for today's episode. So today, I would love to talk to you about escape velocity. Yes, all things spaceships and atmosphere and speed and rockets and fuel. All those sorts of analogies come to mind when we think about escape velocity. So, as I've said previously in other episodes, a lot of these topics that I share in the podcast episodes are based on conversations, real-time, in-time conversations that I'm having with my private clients and those members of my masterminds, because they are super impactful ways to view the world. And if we can view the world through a different lens, a broader lens, a lens that is not so myopic, we can start to entertain some different opportunities. And those different opportunities exist simultaneously with the current workload that we're enrolled in or the current opportunities that we're observing. So everything exists simultaneously in the now. Everything. So if you can understand and conceptualize and can believe and conceive that whatever you think of right now as an idea, as an innovation, as a change lane sort of niche or focal point in your business or your personal life, anything you can conceive of, it exists in the quantum field as a potential. Because the field of potential is the word unlimited or limitless does not do it justice. And so one real key episode or one key concept I would love for you to take on board immediately is that if you can conceive of an idea and you can hold your attention on that idea long enough for it to start to develop strength as a waveform in the field of potentials, and the longer you continue to give it attention and energy and move your physical body through the imagination, through a visualization process, you're drawing the world of the invisible into the visible. You're moving wave into particle, and you're doing that through the vibration of visualization, because your body comes online as you visualize. It comes online to the highest potential of this idea. And then through visualizing it and encoding your system with it, all your five senses, bringing your body up to that new measure of what is possible, then you take action in the field. Meaning you apply your physical energy to the world of matter by taking action in the world, not sitting under a Bodhi tree and waiting for it all to arrive with you. You must take action and move things from wave into particle, but you do it in 3 stages. You do it in stage 1, which is to visualize the idea, or actually to receive the idea, Then you expand the idea and you build it out in your mind's eye and in your imagination. You build it out. And what else is included in this equation? What else is included in this picture? How would it feel if this reality was true, if this came to pass? Then by visualizing the idea, you are then bringing your body online through feeling. So you've got wave, now being brought into visualization, now being brought into feeling. Feeling is the secret to manifesting. Feeling is the secret to bending reality. Feeling is the secret to collapsing wave potential into particle, i.e. to collapsing potentials in the field into manifested form in your life. So once you have engaged the feeling, then you have lifted your body to a higher vibration, a higher octave, which is now enrolled in this new potential, this new idea, and now you take action in the world. No matter how big or how small, it is irrelevant. You take action by sending an email, taking a phone call, making a phone call. Maybe it's creating a design. Maybe it's doing something on your to-do list that you have not done yet and has been sitting there for weeks and weeks. You take action, so you physically move energy from your physical body into the world of matter, and now you are exchanging energy through labor. I'm not saying through effort. I don't want you to get the idea that it's hard work, but you exchange it through effort and labor without the hard work. So you must press yourself upon the substance of matter by moving your body through the world of matter. So I hope this is making sense. And I'm purposely going on a little bit of a tangent just to distort any sort of preconceived, linear, conscious, trapped in a box thinking that you may have up to this point. Because, if you've been listening to other episodes of mine on this podcast, then you will have an appreciation for my language, and you'll start to have appreciation that all things unite and collapse into one form when you focus and give your specific attention to a specific end, a specific outcome that you desire. So what does this have to do with escape velocity? Well, it's everything. Because as I said at the beginning of today's episode, escape velocity is not about rocket ships. But we can use that analogy and metaphor to really express how we get ahead in our own results-driven daily actions. So when you think about you've got an idea, you fail to take action, so you are met with resistance. Or you have an idea, you are met with resistance, and then you fail to take action. It doesn't matter which way you create that formula, but that is often done unconsciously. And the escape velocity is saying, I cannot get out of fear into survival. I can't get from survival into relief. I can't get from relief into stability. And I can't get from stability into freedom and momentum unless I escape the atmospheres of each one of those levels. How do I escape the atmospheres of each one of those levels? The resistance that's within each of those atmospheres. I must focus on the end in mind. I must be clear on what the end is first, then focus on it, and I give my energy to it in the form of visualizing it. I bring myself online and my body and all my senses online through feeling to that higher understanding and higher embodiment of that realized outcome. So I can start to celebrate it at the molecular level. I can start to celebrate it at the level of the DNA, at the level of the nucleotides, at the level of my brain chemistry. I can celebrate my new future right now because I'm clear on what it looks like. And if I'm clear on what it looks like, I can give more attention to it. And as I give more attention to it and I feel it more and more and more, and I really feel it in the now moment, because this is the moment it's the only moment that exists is now, then this helps me to now move into the world and to help create escape velocity. Because now I can take action using my physical body and moving energy into the world of matter in physical form. So instead of trying to think, well, I need to take that action because I believe it's going to give me an outcome that I want, then I fail to take the action because I'm afraid that it won't give me what I want because my subconscious is playing havoc with me, then you end up on a very vicious cycle. And that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, and a lot of clients that I work with in their personal lives quite typically will bounce between very shallow octaves or bandwidths of experience. They'll earn 50 a month and then they'll earn 20. They'll earn their first 10 with a launch and then they'll drop down to nothing for 2 months. Or they'll have all this money in the bank and then it'll start to slip away into expenses and onboarding and enrolling and all these sorts of things, because they've all of a sudden become so preoccupied with the world of matter, the world of objects and things, that they have contracted around the results that they have actually attained. So now they're attached to the results. What happens if I can't repeat that 20K month, that 50K month, that 10K week, first launch of a very small beta program, whatever it's going to be? And so we start to bounce between these atmospheres. So we may move from survival, which is this hustle and grind all the time, and I've got to do more in order to experience and receive more. We've moved from there now into relief. Relief is, I feel so good. I feel like, wow, this is all paying off. But how long does that last for? You start breathing the gases, the oxygen, the atmosphere. You breathe in that atmosphere at the point of relief. But how long do you stabilize that for? Because here comes the next wave. And I don't have enough thruster fuel for my rockets to get me through the next atmosphere from relief into stability. And so, because I want to change my mind. I want to bring in self-doubt. I want to speed things up. I want to. So the whole point of escape velocity is about getting really clear on what you want, enrolling yourself, your body, in through visualization, in the result already being experienced. How would you feel if, using the power of feeling, bring your body and your mind online? Then you move it into the world. And when you start to see results, because results follow, they do not precede. Signs and synchronicities follow your intentions and follow your clear commands. They do not precede them. So if you are I will believe it when I see it type of person, you are going to be trapped inside of each of these atmospheres and find it very difficult to create escape velocity so that you can move from fear and survival and struggle all the way up into the bandwidth of freedom and momentum. So the key is to stabilize the frequency. Know that when you have moved from survival into relief, you've now got a big win, or you've just built out a funnel, or you've just honed the visualization process, and you can really start to feel and sense and perceive signs and synchronicity starting to fold in as waves collapsing now into particles. They're folding into the material world, and you're getting glimpses. You're getting little glimpses. That's your sign to keep going. That's your sign to say, what preceded this was your inner work. What preceded these synchronicities was the causative you. What preceded these was your decision and your application of attention. What preceded these was your clarity and your ability to hold focus on that end as a potential. See where I'm going with this? Because a lot of people struggle with escape velocity. I can't get out of this bandwidth of revenue. I can't get out of this bandwidth of same old clients, or I can't get out of this bandwidth of even starting this new program or ascending out of the common dialogue that friends, family, and fools may be helping to trap you in, small-minded thinking or risk aversion or whatever it may be. So the key is build your momentum in each atmosphere. If you are in survival right now, don't try and get to freedom. Use escape velocity and the principle of escape velocity to power your engines, power up your focus, power up your attention to detail and your attention to the inner world and the game of visualization to get you from survival into relief. And when you move into relief, all of your systems come online to a higher potential. They relax a little bit more. They're not in the animal brain anymore. You're not in this animalistic nature of fight or flight that you have to do more to get ahead, to achieve, to succeed. Then you get into relief. Stabilize relief. Maintain this altitude. Maintain this focus and this attention so that when you've built critical mass in this atmosphere called relief, then you can start to aspire to the next atmosphere. From relief, now we move into stability. But we must stabilize each of these ascending atmospheres, these ascending levels, before trying to get to the next one. And the reason I say this is because I see it so often, far too often, we get the best month or the best 3 months or the best 6 months, and then all of a sudden we are called upon by coaches, by mentors, by industry pressure, by peers, whatever it may be, by marketing, to go, well, you've done that. Now it's really easy to go to the next level. What would happen if everything was covered and you were to stabilize that frequency for one entire year, what would happen? You give up struggle, you give up hard work, you give up grind, you give up hustle. And all of a sudden, your amygdala, instead of being the primary shipbuilder and master and commander of the ship, now relaxes a little bit, and you can start to enjoy and celebrate your wins. You can now pay down debt. You can now start to invest in the self, invest in your family. Maybe it's time away every 2 or 3 months for a long weekend. You can really start to enjoy the foundation that you are building for yourself and your business, rather than being on this hyperbolic growth. Trying to get that word out. I was trying to think of hyperbaric, but you might need that in an oxygen chamber if you do yourself an injustice by trying to push through atmospheres too quickly. And so when you go on this hyperbolic growth, nothing's ever good enough. You're never really there. You're never celebrating what you have and what you just achieved, because it's not where you think you should be. And so you pay the piper the whole time, and you're not happy with what is. It's become the old, and we seldom take the opportunity to really celebrate how much you in fact achieve on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And I get my clients to do this too, and quite often they will struggle with the big rocks in the bucket, the pebbles, and the sand, and they'll pick out a few of them. Now, I'm like this oversight. I'm like this observer. And I say, hang on a minute. Are you denying yourself the celebration of all the sand, all the pebbles, and the other big rocks in your golden bucket of celebration for fear that they don't mean as much as you thought they would mean when you wanted them in the first place, or when you wanted them when you didn't have them? So celebrate everything, because that actually rekindles the fuel in your canisters to get you into the next atmosphere. If you want to move from survival into relief in business or in your personal life, and you are trying to do it at speed and without celebration and without gratitude and appreciation for yourself as being the operant power, as being the causative that is creating the change and the shifts necessary to break through atmospheres, then you're going to slow your progress down. You're going to always feel that nothing's ever good enough. You've never fully arrived. There's always more to do. So right now, take a breath, a nice, long, deep, slow breath, and say, I have arrived. I have arrived. And what you observe in your reality right now, regardless of what you perceive it to be as good, bad, or indifferent, observe it, and without judgment, using discernment, say, which would I like to take with me into the next atmosphere? What aspects of my business come with me into the next atmosphere? What aspects of my personal life? What aspects of my own behavior, my daily, my morning and evening rituals? What aspects of my business or my cash flow? What comes with me? Because all of them don't need to come with you to the next atmosphere. They may be part of the spent fuel canisters that get released, that they got you to this atmosphere so that the next can take the next aspect, the next point of fuel can take you into a higher atmosphere. So observe what's happening in your world, big deep breath, and say, I created all of this and I can change it. That's what freedom is. Freedom is not something you wait for. Freedom is something we all have, and we have available to us right now. So the freedom is actually the trap for some. I don't believe that I'm free because I'm imprisoned by my own thoughts. I'm imprisoned by my own effort, my own trying, my own denial. And that's a whole nother conversation. So you are free in every single moment to choose the direction of your ship, to choose the direction, and therefore to calibrate yourself towards the end by visualizing it, bringing your body online, all of your 5 senses online, and sense the end. What does it look like? What would it feel like? And then you move yourself, your physical self and your non-physical self, into that future reality right now. You move there using imagination and visualization, because the body knows no different. And as you move yourself into that new future, your body comes online, your mind and your neurology, your physiology comes online to a higher dimension. And as it comes online to a higher dimension, you are now pulling in all the light and information from that new future. You're pulling it in to this now moment, into this instrument called your physical body. And then you crystallize it day in, day out, morning and night, morning and night. And during the day, you go ahead and you do the work. You move the energy from physical form of your body into the world as effort, as labor, in order to create friction in the world of matter. And friction creates this static electricity, this charge that then magnetizes all your desired results into this moment. It pulls them in. Wave into particle collapses. And it happens because you have built up enough residual energy based on your attention to your new future, and you have broken through an old atmosphere. So now your desires await you with escape velocity. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I've gone deep in a number of different areas. Hope I haven't popped you and your brain too much, but have a phenomenal day. And I'll go deeper into this in more detail in upcoming podcasts. So wherever you are in the world, remember, dream a better dream. It's all you, baby. See you in the field. Field.